what can I personally do to no longer be labeled a racist? Because again, first of all, you didn't even answer my question, Boyce. I asked you before. Do you think I'm a racist? Give me a yes or no answer.
I don't think it's a yes or no answer. I really don't. I think that it is. I think that you know, because first of all, I think that who we are changes depending on the context. A lot of it's in the eye of the beholder. My belief is that I don't think there's any benefit that comes from me accusing you of being a racist.
That's right.
But at the same time,
You want to
I don't think, but
sensitize me. You want to sensitize me to the issues that black people are dealing with and confronting. I get that. You want me to be more sensitive to it, and I am. I think I am, or I try to be. But go ahead. What else can I be doing to no longer be labeled this way by so many members of the black community?
I think doing as much listening as talking and continue to do that. I think you already do that. I think you already listen, but I think really listening is important too. I think coming into a conversation without assuming that you know the answer, because for many white Americans, their answer to racial problems are answers that they were given to them by a white supremacist
Right.
society.
Right.
So what I will just say is that it's almost I almost compare it a little bit to the fact that if I were to go to the Middle East, I'd have a lot of people that would hate me because I'm an American. And some of them may say, I hate Americans because my child went to a daycare and they sent down a drone and they blew up the daycare and killed my child. I can clearly say I didn't do it, but I'm not gonna, and also I can't sort of just sort of, I guess, have a blanket defense of every U.S. foreign policy decision ever made, because there have been some bad decisions. Like we declared war in Iraq, we should have done it. But at the same time, do I hate the country? No, I don't. I think that unlike a lot of people, I think that there are a lot of redeeming qualities about America. I think there are things to admire about our country, and I stand by that. But at the same time, I can't deny my connection to a country that has done some things to hurt other people, right? So maybe the way I deal with that is, instead of necessarily giving sort of a blanket endorsement to whatever hostility they may have toward me, realize that some of that isn't necessarily directed toward me per se. They may aim it at me at that moment, but really they're thinking about the country that I'm a part of and their view of that country. And that doesn't mean that they're 100% correct, but they are 100% correct about how they feel and about their experience. And what I would be wise to do is to at least try to listen and understand it, and be open to the idea that maybe by seeing my country from a different point of view, I'm going to learn some things that might change how I see things as a person. So the way I see America as a black man, it's never going to be the same as the way you see America. My experiences have been different.
Right.
I've never felt comfortable inviting most white people that I work with. 95% of them, I didn't feel comfortable bringing them to my house and having them around my family, because I didn't want to be judged. Right? I didn't want to sort of let the truth get out in terms of who we really are as people. I don't think that being black is the same as having to wear a certain kind of pantyhose or certain, speaking corporate speak. It's so much deeper than that for a lot of us, to the point where, especially for black men, there are a lot of black men who feel that you're seen as a criminal just because you might do something that is otherwise harmless, something you might do that most black people know is perfectly harmless. A white person might see that and become scared or nervous. An example I'll give you is this. In terms of the perception of black males in particular, when Jordan Davis, a 17-year-old kid, was shot and killed by a white guy at a gas station because he played his music too loud. The jury was thinking about acquitting this guy, and a lot of people, a lot of viewers at CNN were saying, "Oh, well, he was a thug," and the defense attorneys were saying he was a thug and he was scary, he threatened the guy, and he was going to do this and do that. And the reason it was easy for them to get away with that argument is because there are so many people who see black men as inherently scary and dangerous, and I resented that, because I said, "Gosh, if I'm on trial for shooting a couple white kids for playing their music too loud, there's no way I could go into the courtroom and say, oh my God, these white kids, they scared me so much and it was so bad. They were just big thugs." It's not going to work. Right. So I think that just kind of trying to be sensitive to that, trying to understand that, can really go a long way. I can't control what people say or what they think about you. They're probably, there's a good chance they're not gonna like you, but you've got thick skin, and I encourage you to keep talking. That's why I talk to you, because I want your voice to continue to be heard.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You still didn't answer my question. Do you think I'm a racist? Do you think I'm a white supremacist? You don't really.
Honestly, I think that about 95% of the American population, white, black, otherwise, are white supremacists.
Off gold, uncomfortable truths. Man, we gonna deal with some motherfucking uncomfortable truths today. And let me reiterate again, which I hate to do, because anyone who listens to my shit should already know or have an overview of how I feel about certain things. But let me do it again. I don't advocate talking shit about other victims, but we will and we can talk about our behaviors induced by white supremacy, i.e. white people keeping their foot up our ass. Now, the clip you just heard was from the victim known as Dr. Boyce Watkins, speaking with the Princeton mom, Susan Patton, suspected racist. Now, what I want to talk about is the language that a lot of us consciously or unconsciously know that we have to use when dealing with suspected racists and living in a white supremacist dominated global, but we're talking about America right now, the way in which we must be careful what the fuck we say, right? Now, I mean, I'll even go on the record talking about myself, I work for white people, right? I do not go to work talking about white supremacy, period. Man, I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks about that, right? They've been kicking our ass for so long that it's not like I have a plethora of fucking black businesses to go to that I can be like, well, fuck y'all, it's not happening. So, you can get some goddamn sanctions put on your ass for even behaving like you got a problem with white people, and I think if you're listening to this, you know this shit, because either that's true or it's not, right? So, I'm listening to the language that's being used, and the safe words, like a victim will say, they would differentiate between white and black, white supremacists, and how that affects us as people. Then when we have these discussions, especially if it's on in between two so-called intellectuals, whether it's a victim or a white person, start using inclusive words like we, when you talk about America and shit, and start deflecting when you use language like institutional racism, like the victim, Dr. Boyce Watkins, said, I'm not talking about the people, I'm talking about the structure. And I'm like, wait a minute. Who the fuck built the structure? Okay? White people built the goddamn structure. They maintain the structure. It's like we want to separate that shit. You know what I'm saying? That's that safe language. Which, like I said, I understand it. I definitely understand it. Because I think subconsciously, and some of us know consciously, that white people will put a beating on our goddamn ass. Yeah. I think a lot of us know that consciously. For real. And it's just a lot of fucking language that we use that just does not reveal truth. And I don't see how that'll be effective. Do I have a solution for that? No. I say, I have the goddamn answer. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You know, I have suggestions, but that's all they are, you know? That's all they are, you know what I'm saying? So, it's real fascinating, and one part on there tripped me the fuck out. I think this is a part of the clip that I actually chose when she keeps reiterating, you didn't answer my question. Do you think I'm a white supremacist or racist? And, you know, he kind of does the safe language, you know, thing that we often do, that we have to do. Otherwise, we're going to get our ass kicked, be sanctioned. And his response was very fucking interesting. He said, I think we're all a little white supremacists. Now, I don't think that's the most accurate way for him to have said that, you know? But I think it was another one of those safe moments to create some safe space. You feel me? I could be fucking totally wrong about that. However, for me, I'm like, you know, I'm not a fucking white supremacist. How can you be a white supremacist if you're not white? Now, certain things he said in regards to us taking on white supremacist ideologies, I agree with that. I agree with that. We're dominated by white people, their culture, like I always say. We are but retard versions of white people. Either that's true or it's not. If it's not, the burden of proof is on you. I made the claim, you know, prove that I'm wrong. You feel me? Don't get all emotional, 'cause you know I know that's a part of